This is a Channel 2 sports presentation. The second season. Tonight, a look at Game 6 of the Western Conference Championship between the Portland Trail Blazers and the Phoenix Suns.
Good evening once again, everybody. I'm Steve Arena. Welcome to the second season. The final in Game 6, Portland 112, Phoenix 109. It's all over, folks. The Blazers are Western Conference champions. They are headed to the NBA Championship Series. Our special guest tonight is former Portland Trail Blazer Michael Thompson. Being a former Blazer, Michael, and living in this area during the offseason, tonight's win has to be pretty exciting for you.
Yeah, it is pretty exciting, but you have to remember you can't get too excited because they have 4 more games to win.
That's right, but still quite an accomplishment for this team to win the Western Conference Championship, especially when nobody really gave them any chance at all.
Well, I'm not surprised. I figured if we didn't do it, I picked Portland as the second best team in the West before the season started.
Okay, also with us again tonight is Darnell Valentine. We've talked about it ever since we started the second season, Darnell. This team doesn't give up, and tonight some aggressive defense down the stretch really helped out.
Once again, they came through, and I think they made it a bit difficult on themselves and by allowing Phoenix to shoot so many free throws. But I think they came through, and once again, that unity that they've created over the course of the season's paid off.
Okay, also with us tonight live from Phoenix, Arizona is Ron Carlson, who was courtside watching tonight's game. Ron, hello, nice to have you with us again tonight. Some of your comments on probably one of the greatest wins of all time in Blazer history.
Yeah, you guys seem so low-key back there, like we do this all the time. Come on, we covered this, what, once every 13 years? Here we go, having a big time down in the locker room tonight. It was really great, you know. Probably a lot more excitement for us because we had a chance to go in there and be with the guys. A lot of guys were yelling. Some guys were even crying. We'll have a chance to show you that a little bit later on. Here's what they were modeling, too. The Blazers Western Conference Championship 1990 T-shirt. All of the players were wearing this in the locker room after game. A lot of jumping around, a lot of celebrating, as you can imagine. And we'll look forward to sharing that with you a little bit later on.
Ron, we're trying to save our voices back here. We yelled and screamed so hard during the ball game. We're worn out. Boy, what a victory. Let's take a look at some of the first half highlights in another great ball game. And again, the Phoenix Suns get off to the quick start. And Darnell is Kevin Johnson establishing himself right off the bat.
Yes, he really did get off to a strong start and taking the ball right there. I think the referees and officiating was kind of watching because they knew there was a lot of tension and they wanted to keep everything in control, but he got off to a fantastic start.
Technical foul on Kevin. And Michael, when you see this guy operate, he is definitely one of the premier guards in all of basketball.
Oh, without a doubt. I think right now he's the second best point guard behind Magic Johnson, and next year he's going to give Magic a run for his money.
He does so many things, and coming up, he gets the ball inside to Mark West, and at this point, Phoenix starts taking control, leading by 5 at 24-19, and you had to start wondering if the Blazers were going to fold again on the road, but not tonight. Watch Clyde Drexler on the breakaway. The rebound, the Blazers get it off, and Clyde will tomahawk, and Portland is within 3 after the first quarter, 34-31. A guy that really played well for Phoenix tonight was Dan Marley, Darnell.
Yes, he was marvelous. They might start calling him Marvelous Marley. He came through. He does all the little things that make a team so successful. And right there, you know, he has the ability to go up and throw down.
Again, the big jam for Marley, and 49-37, Phoenix up by 12. But again, the Blazers respond, Ron. Clyde goes baseline. They're still in it all the way.
Well, that's what they wanted to do, Steve. They told me in the locker room afterwards they felt if they could just keep this thing close, that they would have a chance to pull off the win with their tough defense at the end.
And, Ron, we're looking at a major key right here. Kevin Johnson pulling up with a torn hamstring. Couldn't return in the second half, and that was a big, big blow to Phoenix.
Certainly was, but, you know, Marley and Hornacek really stepped into the hero's shoes for a while after that and kept the Suns close. Looked like they'd still pull it off.
Exactly. The Suns would not give in. You would think the Blazers could try to take control here at the end of the half, but they don't. Marley on the break, and Phoenix still holds a 63-59 lead at the halftime intermission. So the Blazers are down by 4. Kevin Johnson is out of the ball game. So if you're a Blazer fan, you have to be encouraged that they're only down by 4. And really, Phoenix's big gun in Kevin Johnson is out of the ball game. Michael, at the halftime, Blazers on the road. They're struggling so badly on the road. What do you think Rick Adelman was trying to encourage his players at the halftime break?
I think he was telling them just keep their poise, stay close, because the pressure's on Phoenix to try to win this game tonight. Portland stayed close. They could win in the last 2 minutes of the game.
That's always a big key on the road, Darnell. And I think that was one of the Blazers' main objectives going in, is to be in position to win.
Yes, that's exactly right. But you also have to look at Phoenix. Of the teams that have won over 50 games that were in the Western Conference playoffs, they have lost more games by 3 points and less than any of the other teams. So it just goes to also show that they have a hard time making the right play at the end of the game.
Ron, sitting at the courtside, what feeling did you get at halftime? Portland only down by 4, and Kevin Johnson in the locker room not able to play the rest of the ballgame.
Well, I think it was the obvious feeling, Steve, that if KJ was out and couldn't return, that the Blazers should be able to steal one down here. You know, especially when they came out in the third quarter, as we'll see a little bit later on, and Phoenix just kept hanging around, and in the lead, the frustration started setting in, and we thought maybe that frustration would carry over and the Blazers just wouldn't be able to pull it off. Okay, some key numbers to go over in the first half. Phoenix shot 66% from the field in the first quarter, and Ron, they only shot 38% from the field the rest of the ball game. You know, what's amazing, too, is you look at the stats at halftime, and there's Tom Chambers without a single point in the ball game, and Kevin Johnson out of the game. Everybody's shaking their heads wondering how the Suns are still in this thing. And then you look at the third quarter highlights and the stats, and you realize that the Suns only got 5 buckets in the third quarter, and yet they're still in the ball game after 3. Bench scoring, obviously, very important in the playoffs. The Blazer bench outscored 24-6 in the first half. Fast break points, Phoenix 16 and Portland 3. Turnovers, Phoenix 11 and Portland 4. KJ pulled hamstring. Terry Porter led the Blazers at the halftime break, scoring 18 points. Kevin Johnson with 16 and Dan Marley with 16 points. Okay, down by 4 at the half. Let's get to the second half highlights and take a look. Tom Chambers shut out in the first half. He doesn't get his bucket until early third quarter, and here it is off the fast break. So Phoenix trying to get their crowd back into the ballgame.
Yes, that was a happy thing for them to see, is Tom Chambers being able to get out and get that slammer.
And Michael, suddenly Phoenix is on fire. Watch the turnover here, and Marley will jam, and Phoenix is up by 10 early third.
Yeah, right now it was a 2-man show for Phoenix. Marley and Jeff Hornacek, they were carrying Phoenix by themselves.
But they've done it all year long, especially in the playoffs. The Blazers battle back. Cliff Robinson, big rebound, perfect pass to Clyde, and he scores, and Portland is only down by 3. And then Dražen Petrovic comes off the bench, Ron, and he does an outstanding job. I thought he lit an instant fire in his team. The Yugoslavian wonder comes in and really has a good time, Steve. 7 straight points, 11 points in just 9 minutes, and that wrist that was hurt earlier in the week looked a lot better tonight. Michael, when you're on offense and you're in the flow of the game, how important is it to have a guy come off the bench like a Dražen Petrovic and be able to unload from the outside?
Well, that's very important because it opens up the inside game for you. And you know you have Kevin Duckworth and Buck Williams on the inside. And if you can get guys like Dražen hitting from out there, that makes it easier for you all around the game. Really, a key part of the game, Darnell, having him come in and start firing away. And suddenly the Blazers are up by 1. And, you know, they're looking pretty good.
Yes, they are. And right here, because of the defensive presence of Wayne Cooper, they get a breakaway. And here, once again, the officials are controlling the game.
Exactly. A lot of calls tonight. And, Ron, I thought that Phoenix really did a good job in getting the ball to their hot hand, and that was Jeff Hornacek.
Yeah, Hornacek was just unbelievable, Steve. He really responded well to the absence of Kevin Johnson, hit the big shots, and just plain ran through every stop sign that Portland tried to hold up on it.
So Phoenix is up by 5, and here comes Portland in crunch time. Terry Porter unloads the 3. Phoenix only leads 105-102. 3 minutes, 10 seconds left to play. Now it is crunch time, everybody. And watch Jerome on the transition, and this is Portland's game.
Once again, Jerome's taking it strong, and when he's on the break, he's just so athletic. You're not going to stop him.
Well, Michael, watching this game, you kind of had the feeling right here that here we go again. The Blazers had that look in their eye, and you kind of had a feeling they were going to pull it out.
Yeah, because they had gotten the transition game going, and like you said, that's Portland's game, when they can cause block shots and turnovers. Watch out, here comes Jerome and Clyde leading the break, and it's unstoppable.
That is a monster block by Jerome. He scores on the break. 110-109 Blazers, 55 seconds left. And then we've seen it in every Blazer win in this series, that tough defense to save the game. And here it is again. Watch Buck stop Chambers. The ball is loose. The Blazers recover. Clyde is fouled, and he'll go on to hit 2 free throws to give them a 3-point lead, and Phoenix is in big trouble. Again, the Suns faced with a make-or-break shot late in the game, and that tough Blazer defense comes to the occasion, Ron. They just shut them down.
Well, the Blazers said that this was the key to their whole year, and they thought it was fitting that it came down to it tonight, that they should be able to win this series with Tough D at the end.
And look at the emotion, Darnell. You know, watching these guys, they had worked so hard all year. They had conquered so many obstacles all year long. So many people said they couldn't do what they did tonight. And finally, all that pressure was off their shoulders.
Well, certainly. Steven Spielberg couldn't have written a better script than that. I tell you, the team has really done well, overcome tremendous odds. And even, I think they played better as an underdog, actually.
Really, and there was, I thought the pressure was on Phoenix tonight. You know, the Blazers could loosen up a little bit. They didn't have to win tonight. They would have loved to win, which they did, but they still had another chance in Game 7.
Well, I think the Blazers came with attitude, let it all out tonight, because the pressure would be on Phoenix, and if they came out loose and ready to play, Phoenix would choke up at the end, and that's what happened. Besides, Steven Spielberg wouldn't have written that script. He'd have made the Lakers. He's from Hollywood. The Lakers would have came out NBA champs.
No way.
Right. He wouldn't have been a trade like that. He'd have made the Lakers the champs, because he is from Hollywood.
Hey, yeah, with that in mind, Ron, boy, you were one lucky reporter to be able to be in that Blazer locker room after the game. I imagine that had to be very, very exciting for you.
Oh, it really was, Steve. It's a moment I'm sure Phil Beard, our cameraman, and I will always treasure, getting to be the first ones into the locker room tonight to watch these guys jump around and celebrate. You know, they've been called the unknowns of the NBA all year long, not getting a whole lot of respect. Rick Adelman's been called Rick Adelman, Rick Adelman, and they even over the PA down here said Terry Porter was Kevin Porter at times, but they're not going to do that anymore. They know who these guys are now, and the Blazers had a moment to really celebrate at the end of the game. Here's what they had to say.
I didn't believe we couldn't win here. I didn't believe we had security blanket at home. You know, I don't care what anybody says. If you're 9-0 at home, you're pretty good. There's a reason for that. No one else is that. And I knew we could win on the road. It was just a matter of time. So I didn't believe any of that.
It feels great. You cannot imagine. Right now, we still don't believe it. But hopefully, we'll savor this and get ourselves ready for the finals.
Sometimes you just want to go up and kiss these guys. These guys are great on this team. I love them. And it's a feeling that's kind of indescribable. You know, you want to say all the happy words, but I mean, it's just like something. It's just like in the inside, I feel like something's burning, something boiling. It's just a feeling that you just want to take and throw it out to the whole world.
Everyone in Yugoslavia is talking. Do you know? Divas and Lakers is going to play the finals. Do you know? Now I have the word. You know, Blazers is on the final right now.
Tonight, for some strange reason, Clyde Drexler and myself were talking, and I said, "Hey, Clyde, my legs feel real good tonight for some strange reason." And he said, "Mine too." So I knew we were in for a good game.
Hey, congratulations! A special moment for you going to the finals here.
You don't know how special. It's been 12 years, and to happen with this team, with this group of guys, you know, it's just so special.
Tell me what you guys were yelling in here when we first came in.
There'll be no seventh game. And there won't be. Yes, fellas, yes! I'm loving it. Without a doubt, it's a great win for us, you know, and Cotton's going to say that with the loss of Kevin, their team really was hurting, and I would have to agree with them, but, you know, nobody gave us any sympathy in San Antonio when we lost our two centers, and we just got the job done tonight. We knew if we hang close, didn't allow them to get out to a big lead, and come down fourth quarter, we have enough guys, go-to guys who can make the shots for us. That's what it's all about. I knew if we keep it close down the fourth quarter and stretch, that our guys put it in an extra drive and take off. And Clyde, I tell you, he's still amazing to me.
You guys have been through so much this year with you and Terry both losing your moms. It's got to be extra special for you considering that.
Oh, yeah, it feels real good. I know my mother and my godmother looking down on me, and they're saying good job and good job to the team, and I love them very much.
This team has been pulling out games like that all through the playoffs, and so I had a lot of confidence, but, you know, it's never over till it's over, and so, you know, we're all really pumped up, and the team did it. What can I say?
Going to be able to sleep tonight?
I think I'm going to be up for a while. Okay.
And a classy moment by the Suns after the celebration. Cotton Fitzsimmons and the players, Tom Chambers, Jeff Hornacek, and all the rest, as you can see, they're coming in to wish the Blazers well. And contrary to what Michael says, the Suns say they are going to see Portland again in the Western Conference Finals next year. Michael, take that, see what you have to say about that. Okay, also, Clyde Drexler borrowed a comment from the Dead Poets Society movie when he said, "We had the moment there, and we seized the moment." And now, of course, the Suns are dead, and the Blazers are going on to the finals.
Okay, Ron, thanks very much. Some happy Blazers in that locker room. And, Michael, I know you played against the Blazers this year, and I think their defense really showed what kind of team they are this year. 20 points in the fourth quarter. They allowed Phoenix really no room at all to maneuver. What's it like playing against that Blazer D?
Well, they're very quick. They are very agile. They help out each other a lot, and you feel like you can get by one guy, but Jerome is such an active player on defense, and so is Buck Williams and Clyde. They come from nowhere to steal the ball or deflect passes or block shots, and they're going to give Detroit a run for their money.
It should be a pretty good matchup. Okay, let's take a look at some of the game stats. Again, the Blazers didn't shoot the ball well tonight. 42% from the field, Darnell, but they're doing so many other things so well.
Yes, they have the capacity to be able to expand on other parts of their game, and that certainly tells a story. I mean, they've almost averaged 40-some% and still been able to win.
Look at the free throws. Phoenix made 14 more free throws than Portland, had 18 more free throw attempts from the line.
Well, that's the only way they really stayed in the game is at the free throw line. Portland had them in a position where they were really struggling to score, but they just constantly went to the line.
Okay, let's take a look now at the Blazers scoring for the night. Terry Porter led the way with 23 points. Clyde Drexler chipped in 23. Both players had 7 assists on the night. Kevin Duckworth, a strong game, 18 points and 8 rebounds. Jerome Kersey, 15 points, plus that key block to actually, stop Phoenix and scoring the game-winning lay-in. Buck Williams, 12 points, 11 rebounds, just another night on the job for Buck, another strong performance. And Dražen Petrovic, 11 points off the bench, 5 of 7 from the field. For Phoenix, Jeff Hornacek, a career-high 36 points, 11 of 22 from the field. He had all 14 free throws. Dan Marley, 22 points off the bench, along with 10 rebounds. Tom Chambers didn't score until the third quarter when he finally scored 17 points for the night, only 5 of 16 from the field. And Kevin Johnson, in one half, scored 16 points, 6 assists in 14 minutes of playing time. Okay, the Blazers are scheduled to arrive tonight around 1 o'clock, 1:30, actually this morning at the Hillsborough Airport. And Channel 2's Steve Dunn is at the airport right now awaiting the team's arrival. Good evening, Steve.
How you doing, Steve? I hope you're not looking for any in-depth conversation here because I can't hear a doggone thing you're saying. This is a wild crowd out here, but I'm going to revise something for you. Earlier I told you several hundred people out here. Yes. Let's make that several thousand. In fact, police say there's a solid line of traffic along Sunset Highway waiting to get in here. These people have been told that the plane does not arrive until 1:15, 1:30 in the morning. They say they don't care. They say they've waited 13 years for this. What's a couple of more hours? Now, people have been partying, of course, for the last couple of hours now, but earlier tonight we watched the game from the East Bank Saloon, where things were a little bit tense at times. Here's a look.
From the time the game started, emotions were running high throughout the East Bank Saloon, where hundreds of fans had gathered to watch the Trailblazers and the Phoenix Suns in Game 6. They came donning their Blazer hats and pom-poms. The first half had its highs and lows, and many started wondering if the Blazers would come up short again after falling behind by as much as 12. But as Portland whittled back, the crowd came alive. And by halftime, with the Blazers down by just 4, confidence was sky high.
I think it's going real good, and especially if Kevin Johnson's hurt, they should have a good chance in the second half.
Well, I think the Blazers are going to win. It's been tough, but they're going to win it.
If they win this game, they can win it all.
The second half carried the same emotion, with some fans getting frustrated over the Blazers' inability to capitalize on Phoenix mistakes. But as time ran off the clock, the fans moved closer to the edge of their seats, hoping and wondering if the Blazers could finally pull one off on the road, one that would put them over the top and into the World Championship game. And when the clock expired, their dreams had come true. Portland was moving on, and the place erupted.
We're talking Blazer Mania.
Bring on the Bulls, baby. We want Chicago.
Okay, back here at Hillsborough Airport. And the problem is not going to be waiting for the Blazers. It's going to be how they're going to get out of here. It is wall to wall. There's a band, lots of partying going on. It is getting colder, but the fans are just warming up. They say they'll stay here until the plane arrives, and probably even longer than that, Steve, so I'm going to toss it back to you.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. Great report, and have a good time out there with all the excitement. Okay, gang, let's wrap this up. Michael, I'm going to turn to you first. Detroit or Chicago, what matchup is better for Portland?
Oh, definitely Chicago, because that gives Portland a home court advantage. You don't want to go to Detroit and try to win four whatever, how many games back in the Palace. That's almost impossible to do.
Tough place to play. Yes. Darnell, what do you think?
It's going to be a great series because at this point in time, you have a lot of people who can really play. And with Detroit, of course, they have that deep bench. But with Chicago, they got the Jordan rule.
Oh, boy, I don't know if I'd like to play Michael Jordan in the championship series.
Yeah, but that's one man. One man can't beat the Blazers. With Detroit, you have to deal with 9, 10 guys.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. Okay, Ron Carlson, are you still with us in Phoenix? Some of your final thoughts on the Blazers and what they have to look forward to.
Well, guys, Rick Adelman said he knows that their team is going to be counted out once again, that they're not going to be given the chance of winning the whole thing, but he says they're right where they want to be. They've taken 4 steps. He told the team you have 4 steps to take to get to this thing. Step 1 was beating Dallas. Step 2 was beating San Antonio. Step 3, of course, beating Phoenix. He says, guys, let's enjoy the moment, but we still have one more step to take. So I think they're approaching this thing very intelligently. And look for this club to come out strong once again in the finals. It's going to be a lot of fun to follow.
Okay, Ron, thank you, and have a safe trip back home tomorrow. And Michael Thompson, thank you very much. Appreciate you coming by and seeing us. And Darnell, my partner, we'll see you Tuesday night, okay?
You bet.
All right, that wraps up this edition of the second season. Enjoy the moment, everybody. Your Portland Trail Blazers are Western Conference champions, and now they're headed to the big show. If the Blazers play Detroit, the series will start Tuesday in Detroit. The Pistons would have the home court advantage. If the Blazers play Chicago, the series begins Tuesday in Portland, and the Blazers would have the home court advantage. Right now, the team is looking for a few days' rest, something Rick Adelman and the gang most definitely deserve. We'll be back with another second season after Game 1 of the championship series Tuesday night. Good night, everybody.